So he showed by a simple calculation, you can try it in your home, that he showed that if the moving time is t0, this observer's unit time is t0 and his unit time is t, who is traveling with v1 or v, say, then if the time is related by this relation, then you divide by t0 when you are thinking of this observer, you divide by t when you are thinking about A. Then you will see the sum still remains C. So he said that these two clocks are running differently. And that can only explain this, and therefore he said that moving clock, see, if suppose V is very close to C, then this quantity is less than 1, correct? Because 1 minus something is less than 1. Less than 1 square root is even less than 1. Then T0 divided by a quantity less than 1 is greater than T0, because T0 by half is 2T0, correct? So T is greater than 2T0. That means his 1 second has become much larger. It is taking much longer time to travel. So moving clock runs slow. And you may think that I am telling you some fantasy story, but do you know that it has been proved even in a biological cell division, that if you put it in a rocket of very high speed, the cell division slows down. So moving object, the time becomes slower and slower. And if he travels with speed equal to c, what happens? This is 1 minus 1 is 0. Anything by 0 is infinity. That is, his 1 second is your, who is moving, is infinite time. That means his clock is not moving. Clock is static. He is taking infinite time to just for that 1 second. So if you can travel with speed of light, your clock will stop and your age will not increase. So you must be very happy about it and think that is a good way to do this, but I will tell you why it is difficult, it's not easy. So moving clock runs slow, that is certain. But then there is a catch in the whole argument. So people say, this is critic all around the world, right? So they told Einstein that, see, you have developed a good theory to explain that why speed of light is constant, but if V is greater than C, what will happen? Then this becomes 1 minus a quantity greater than 1, which is a negative number. Negative number square root is imaginary number, so time becomes imaginary. This is very, very silly. Time can be slower, but time cannot be imaginary number. So they told Einstein what kind of theory you have brought, that somebody traveling with greater than speed of light will have imaginary time. This has no meaning. So we are ready to accept the clock is growing slow, but we cannot ready to accept time becomes imaginary. So Einstein said then immediately, fine, speed v greater than imaginary time. So Einstein said nothing can move faster than light. This is the easiest way to escape. So he said that nothing can move faster. Then there is no problem. But people told him that why nothing can move faster than light? Because we know acceleration is force by mass. If I apply force, it will accelerate. If I keep on applying force, it will accelerate. Speed increases, then reaches the speed of light. If I apply force, speed further increases and crosses the speed of light. How can you stop this? This clearly shows that speed will keep on increasing. So Einstein said, he was a very smart person. As I said, if I exceed the speed of light, a contradiction, Einstein said there is one way to solve it. He said that assume that mass is not constant. So he said that suppose mass changes with velocity. So if when you move, your mass changes, which actually happens. At this m0 is your mass when you are standing static. It is a static mass called rest mass. When you are at rest. And this is your mass when you are moving with velocity v. As you can see, if your speed increases and reaches the speed of light, then when you are moving with speed of light, your mass has become m0 by 0, which is infinity. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. So velocity c implies mass infinity, but acceleration force by mass f by infinity, which is 0, it will not accelerate, therefore speed cannot increase. Your mass has become infinitely large, acceleration becomes 0, and when your mass has increased to infinity, acceleration stops. So he explained everything. But what did he show in the process? He showed that when you apply force, it not only increases the kinetic energy, as you learned in your mechanics book, but it increases the mass of the object. But you can say that, when you are walking, our mass is increasing. The answer is yes. But with what speed you are walking? Normally puts that velocity, which is nothing in comparison to c. And therefore v by c is a very, very small number with respect to 1, and you neglect this quantity, and it becomes m0, your mass fixed. We are assuming that assumption is correct because the variation is negligibly small. So Newton is right as long as you are not moving too fast. The moment you are moving very close to speed of light, then Newton is gone. Because Newton thought that mass is constant. So everything is now falling into places, but only thing that Einstein said, your work done that you have done, your energy has been converted into mass. The mass is increasing, and therefore immediately, so that energy supplied by the force, it becomes mass of the. So you become fat when you move, which is correct. So energy is converted into mass, so mass is also convertible into energy, and energy and mass are interconvertible, and Einstein showed the famous equation A equal to mc square. It is a very simple calculation from the previous equation that I wrote. So he showed that from a mass, small mass, since c is very, very large, speed of light, you can create huge energy. And when you have energy divided by c square, you can create masses. So you can produce new particles from energy. So if energy can be converted into masses, mass can be converted into energy. Both are allowed. And he got very, very worried. He wrote to the American president that, see, I have discovered something which is very dangerous, because for a small mass you can produce huge energy. But he was so innocent, he didn't understand that the American president was exactly looking for this cold object. So he immediately developed Manhattan Project, and he generated what is called the atom bomb. Einstein later, of course, regretted of writing this letter to the US president. Now, so new concept of time. See, I just ask you one question, that what is time? And from that you have developed new concept of mass, energy, nuclear bomb, nuclear energy. Probably we can use this energy to solve our energy crisis. This is a positive way of using. This is a negative way of using, producing bomb. Creation and destruction of new particles. And this subject is called the special theory of relativity. So, you have to remember two things. When we say mass of a particle, you say mass of an electron, mass of a proton, remember we always mean the rest mass in zero, because we know that mass changes with velocity. Also remember, this is very important for our entire lecture today. Please focus all your attention here. Suppose m0 is 0. Something's released mass is 0. Then, if it travels less than speed of light, then 0 by anything is 0, and therefore it will never acquire any mass, but we have shown that mass increases. So if you start with that 0 rest mass, and if it travels with any speed less than speed of light, then its mass cannot be increased, it's always 0. Because 0 by anything is 0. So how to handle this? The only way to say this, that if V is also C, then it is 0 by 0, 1 minus 1, 0. 0 by 0 is not 0. 0 by 0 is not 0. So that can be a finite number. So he said, For all particles whose rest mass is 0, its speed has to be equal to c so that this equation is consistent. Any massless object travels with speed of light. And anything whose mass is not 0, then if its velocity becomes c, then mass becomes infinity, which is not possible. We cannot create infinite mass. Therefore, it has to travel with speed less than the speed of light. So the second lesson is, for all massive particles whose m0 not 0, its speed is less than speed of light. Now, can you remember this information from the rest of the that all massless particles have 0 speed c, and all massive particles have speed less than c. That is the relation.
So then how can we explain the dual nature of light?
See, dual nature of light is the following, that light's particle is called photon. The dual character of light is what is called photon. And photon travels with speed of light, but photon is massless. Photon rest mass is 0. So I told you in the previous slide, if this is 0, then it can travel with speed of light, because 0 by 0 is not 0, but it's a finite number. So photon's moving mass is not 0, it is finite, but its rest mass is 0. Is it clear? Okay. So this is a famous equation, E equal to mc square. So you are generating energy, mass and energy are interconvertible, you are generating new particles. Particle can be created by this, energy can be created by this. Okay. Now, what happened is two. One is, by destroying a particle, we destroyed two cities. By producing huge amount of energy, this is the, can you imagine the level of destruction? And then, when two high energy beam collides, it creates new particles. Because energy, as I said, energy can be converted into masses. So energy is converting into masses, new particles, and mass converting into energy is atom bomb. So this is atom bomb, and this is generation of new particles by energy of these two beams hitting each other. Remember. The question is, from which energy source all the microparticles which constitute our universe came into existence? Now, all of you now agree with me that everything that you see are composed of this electron, proton, neutron and microparticles. This electron, proton, neutrons. From where they have come? You know, particle is created by energy. Correct? New particles are created from energy. From where that energy has come? Who has given that energy? To understand that, you observe that a galaxy is composed of many stars. Very large number of stars. Now, if you look at the galaxies in the sky, the distance between two galaxies is very large. Suppose that the universe consists of many galaxies, and distance between any two galaxies is a. Now, if you apply Einstein theory to the universe as a whole, this you have to believe me, because this needs some details calculation, but which I can do it for you someday. Then you can show that the distance between two galaxies is double prime means is change with time, and this is the average density of the universe, this is the pressure of the universe. This is a very famous equation. This shows that since this side is non-zero, the distance between the galaxies, its variation with time is non-zero, this distance is changing, universe is expanding or contracting. And in 1929, Hubble found that the universe is expanding. So universe is expanding, all galaxies are going away from each other. So if we go back in time, at time t equal to 0, all the galaxies were at a point, because distance between all galaxies were 0. That is, the whole universe started from a point with a huge explosion called Big Bang. And if you use Einstein theory, the time is 13.5 into 10 to the power 9 years, which is though very large, remember, is not infinite, it is finite. So finite years before, this year before, the universe was a point. It started with a huge explosion called Big Bang. Einstein theory proves this. And this is the kind of simulated picture of Big Bang from which everything started. Huh? Please, yeah.
Sir, if the universe was a point, 13.5 billion years ago, then what was surrounding that?
Nothing was surrounding that point. Do you know what it is? Something like this. Suppose, consider yourself on a rubber sheet. Okay? Now, this rubber sheet is itself a surface, right? Correct? It's a surface. There is nothing other than, you don't think that there is something above or below. Don't think that. Just consider yourself, suppose an ant walking on the rubber sheet. So he knows, that ant knows there is only two-dimensional surface. Now somebody stretching the rubber sheet, what will happen? All points in the rubber sheet will go away from each other. So that ant will think that the galaxies are going away. So we are that ant in a three-dimensional surface. So that ant will never know that whether something is there outside or not. But if the rubber sheet squeezes, if you say that from where it started, the rubber sheet squeezes to a point and started expanding. Okay? So there is no outside. Okay? So our universe is three-dimensional. Okay. So, interestingly, this Einstein theory was experimentally verified by these two persons, Penzias and Wilson, in 1965, because according to Einstein theory, because of that huge explosion, huge heat was emitted. That heat wave should be still 3 degree Kelvin everywhere in the universe, because that was created at the birth of the universe. So it was spread all over the universe, so it should be everywhere. It is there in this room, do you know? You can measure it by suitable detector. That it is 3 degree Kelvin temperature heat wave is all over the universe. They detected this and exactly measured that 3 degree Kelvin is the temperature. Actually it is 2.7 degrees centigrade, 7 degree Kelvin temperature. And both of them got Nobel Prize because Big Bang theory was established, because this was the prediction of Big Bang theory. So experimentally proven. Now, the energy released at the Big Bang gave birth to fundamental particles following this equation. You learned that if there is an energy, it produces particles, it produces masses. I explained. Correct? From energy, from Big Bang energy masses, which gradually these particles form atoms, form molecules, form planets, stars, galaxies and us. So when our universe continues to expand and cool down. So this is the story that we have now, that universe is expanding and therefore we are all the children of Big Bang energy. Question is, who gave that energy at the moment of Big Bang? That answer we will never know, because that is the beginning of our time. What happened before that is forever a matter of philosophical discussion, but it is not in the domain of science. Science starts from there. You can think anything, you can imagine some huge power, something, you can think whatever. So this was the Big Bang moment, it's the beginning of time. The universe expanded, the energy release generated many particles. Particles then started forming atoms, molecules, and all these planets, stars, galaxies, and we are now here. Universe is increasing continuously increasing. So remember, if you look into the sky, look into the distant star in the night sky, always imagine that everybody is going away from us, because the universe is expanding. And do you know how do you measure the speed of expansion of the universe? Because when the light, say distant star or galaxy emitting a light, if it is static, the wavelength that we will receive is different from what if it goes away. It is called Doppler effect. Many of you may have heard about it, that the frequency changes if there is a motion between the emitter and some receiver. So, knowing that, we measure the rate of expansion of the universe, which is very, very high. You cannot imagine. The particles created from Big Bang energy, they are massless or massive. This question is important. And do you know the answer? The particles were massless. And then you are finished, because if all the particles were massless, from where they got mass? Electrons, protons, neutrons, they are all massive particles, they are masses. Now, masses of these particles are crucial in forming the stable elements in our universe, leading to the formation of atoms, molecules, and life. Do you know that all of you know that electrons is rotating around the nucleus? Do you know that the electron become massless? What will happen? What will be its speed? What did I tell you? Speed of light. Anything massless travels with speed of light, and with speed of light you cannot form an orbit, closed orbit. So there will be no atom. So all the particles are created by Big Bang, and they are merely moving with speed of light. There is no atoms, no molecules, and no life, nothing. There will be a universe without life.